Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic which is under discussion is for A2 counting, and we are discussing partnership changes. And in partnership changes, the question which we are going to discuss or the topic is going to be retirement. So we are going to solve the question for retirement. When the partner is going to retire from the business, so what kind of entries we are supposed to do? We have discussed this earlier also. And what kind of treatment and how capital accounts are going to be prepared in case of retirement. When the retiring partner will leave the partnership, it is possible that he can take some assets with him. Means he can retain some assets. If any partner will take over any asset, either he is retiring partner or he is continuing partner, we will pass the entry partner capital account debit and asset account credit. Why? Because asset is going to decrease from the partnership and business will deduct that amount from that partner's capital account. So capital account will decrease because the business is not supposed to pay any amount for that motor vehicle, and business will deduct the amount from his capital. So we will discuss it later on. Let's read the question. Abby, Ben, and Kane have been in partnership for many years, sharing profit and loss in the ratio of 3:1. 3/6, 2/6, 1/6 is the ratio. That is the old ratio. Balance sheet is already given in the question. Ben retired from the partnership on 30th June 2021 and the following was agreed. Always remember that partnership change has nothing to do with the profit and loss, because profit and loss or income statement will be affected only in case of trading activities of the business. So these are not trading activities of the business. This happened because of the partnership change, because a new partner is coming into the business, or there is a change in the partnership agreement, or one of the partner is retiring from the business. This question has come in October, November 21, 23. So in A2, in AS level, it has come in October, November 21, 23, but now this topic has been merged into A2. So Ben should retain one of the motor vehicle at the net book value of 14,500. The remaining motor vehicle should be revalued at 33,000. Property should be revalued at 77,000. Inventory should be revalued at 17,000. The value of goodwill was 39,000 and it was not to be retained in the books. So we will start solving the question from the goodwill, and you should be knowing this thing, which is very important, that goodwill is not supposed to be retained in the books because it is against two accounting concepts. This is known as inherent goodwill, existing goodwill, and it is not supposed to be recorded in the books. So first, we need to distribute the goodwill between the old partners in old ratio, and then it is going to be written off in new partners according to new ratio. Let's do the entries. 39,000 is the goodwill, and the partner's name is Abby, Ben, and Ken, because ABC I can easily go for. So I will go for the abbreviation ABC because that will make my question easy. And the ratio between them is 3:1. So 3/6, 2/6, and 1/6. The goodwill is going to be debited with 39,000. That is the total amount of goodwill. A's capital account credit, B's capital account credit, and C's capital account is going to be credited with old ratio. And what is the old ratio? That is 3/6, 2/6, and 1/6. Because we need to record the goodwill first. Record means we have reinstated the goodwill. Reinstate means that we need to show the amount of goodwill which is supposed to be credited in the partner's capital account to show the actual position of their capitals, and then the goodwill will be written off according to the new ratio in new partners. So what is the amount of 3/6? 39,000 into 3/6, 19,500. 2/6 is 13,000. Thank you. And 1/6 is going to be 65. So this is how goodwill is going to be credited to the old partners. Now I'm going to write off the goodwill. Let's see which partner is going to retire from the partnership. That is Ben. So Ben is retiring. So it means that the goodwill will not be written off in Ben's capital account. So I will write A's capital account and C's capital account because Ben is no more a partner in the business, and goodwill is going to be credited because goodwill is not supposed to be shown in the books. It has to be written off between new partners in new ratio. Let's see what is going to be the new ratio. If you just go through the question, the second line shows that Abby and Ken decided to continue in partnership, sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. So it means that the new ratio between the new partners is 3/5 and 2/5. So I will distribute the goodwill of 39,000. Right, I will write off the goodwill of 39,000 between A and C in the ratio of 3/5 and 2/5. So calculate करें 39,000 into 3/5, 23,400, and 39,000 into 2/5, 15,600. So A's capital account debit, C's capital account credit, and goodwill is going to be credited with 39,000. If you just look at the question, Hamza, we have already discussed it earlier, लेकिन फिर भी I'm just repeating it again. A's capital account is getting benefit of 19,500 for the goodwill, and the amount deducted from his capital because of goodwill is 23,400. So he's facing a loss of around 3,900 or some. In B's case, B is also facing a loss of, it is credited, his capital account is credited by 13,000, and then the amount is deducted from its capital, 15,600. So C is basically taking a loss of 2,600 because of goodwill. And that loss, that goodwill is going to be credited to C's capital because C is basically getting the benefit of his share of goodwill, which is credited into his capital account, and he will take that amount from the business because he is leaving the partnership. Right? आप calculate कर सकते हो 19,500 minus 23,400. What is the amount? 3,900 plus 2,600, you will get 65. Plus 2,400, I'm sorry. 3,900 plus 2,400, you will get 2,600. Sorry, 6,500. So that amount will be credited to the retiring partner's capital account for his share of goodwill to show a true and fair view of the business. Next. Ben should retain one of the motor vehicle at the net book value of 14,500. So he is taking the motor vehicle. So I will pass the entry. B's capital account is going to be debited, and motor vehicle is going to be credited with the amount of the motor vehicle, because motor vehicle is non-current asset, decrease in asset credit, and B's capital account will be debited because business is not supposed to repay any amount for the motor vehicle which has been retained by Ben. So business has deducted that amount of motor vehicle from his capital. So now business doesn't need to pay 14,500 to B because B has taken motor vehicle for the same amount. So let's move forward. The remaining motor vehicle should be revalued at 33,000. So let's talk about remaining motor vehicle. The total amount of motor vehicle given in the question is 52,000, and we have to subtract 52,000 minus 14,500, which has been taken up by the retiring partner Ben. 52,000 minus 14,500. What is the amount? 37,500. But now that 37,500 of motor vehicles has been revalued, and the revalued amount is 33,000. So it means that the motor vehicle, the value has been decreased by 4,500. So I will pass the entry for the revaluation decrease. The entry is going to be, revaluation account is going to be debited by 4,500, and motor vehicle is going to be credited by 4,500 because asset decrease is going to be credited. And revaluation account, there is a loss because we are sustaining a loss because of the decrease in motor vehicle. So revaluation account, the nature of that account is profit and loss account. So that's why we will debit revaluation account because of the decrease in the value of motor vehicle by 45. Property should be revalued at 77,000. So the property given in the question is 65,000. Now it has become 77,000. The property value has been increased. How much revaluation has been increased? That is 12,000. So the entry to record is property is going to be debited by 12,000 and revaluation is going to be credited because it's a revaluation profit. It may be treated as income because the nature of revaluation is profit and loss account. So increase in the asset will be recorded because asset is increasing, asset will be debited, but revaluation account will be credited because we are getting a benefit of 12,000 because of the increase in property. Inventory should be revalued at 17,000. I hope that inventory is going to be decreased. It is 18,200, but now the value has been decreased to 17,000. So 1,200, by 1,200 inventory, we are facing a loss in the value of inventory. So revaluation account is going to be debited and inventory is going to be credited by 1,200. So this is how I have recorded the entries for goodwill and for the revaluation. Now I am going to prepare the account of revaluation so that the profit on revaluation can be transferred to the old partners with old ratio. Revaluation account is going to be prepared and it is prepared to distribute the profit or loss to the old partners with old ratio because all the revaluation which has been done, either it is getting benefit or loss, will be distributed to the old partners because it is all because of their efforts, all because of their non-efforts that they are sustaining this loss or profit. So let's pass the entries. Revaluation account is debited by 4,500 because of motor vehicle. This is the first entry for revaluation. Then revaluation account is credited by 12,000 and that is because of with reference to property. Then revaluation account is debited by 1,200 because of inventory. Right? That's it. There is no other entry regarding revaluation. So I'm going to make the total of the two sides. And the difference of the two sides, if credit side is heavier, we are going to have a profit on revaluation, which is transferred to the old partners, where we know that there were 3 old partners when there was before retirement. So that profit will be transferred to the old partners according to their old ratio, which is 3 to 1. So 3 by 6, 2 by 6, and 1 by 6. So what is going to be the profit? 12,000 minus 4,500 minus 1,200, 6,300. And that amount will be distributed between A, B, and C in their old ratio, which is 3 to 1. So that is 3,150. Then 2 by 6 will be 6,300 into 2 by 6, 2,100, and 6,300 into 1 by 6 is 1,050. So now I'm going to prepare the capital accounts because that revaluation profit is going to be transferred to the capital accounts according to their old ratio, which I have already mentioned on the debit side of revaluation account. So we prepare the capital account of A, B, and C. Maybe all the capital accounts are not required, but I will prepare all 3 capital accounts just to make you understand the topic, understand the concept fully, how to prepare capital accounts in case of retirement. So always remember that retiring partner capital account will be closed not with balance carried down. Why, sir? Because retiring partner capital account, he is no more partner in the business. He is going out of the business. So because he has retired from the partnership, So his capital account cannot be closed with balance carried on because there will be no balance brought down in his account. So his balance will be closed with either bank account or by loan or with both, because he will take his share of profit and he will leave the partnership for good. So first of all, I would have to write the balance brought down of the all the partners of the three partners, which is given in the question. And let's see. Here is one more thing. Any amount due to Ben after fifth point, if you just look at it, any amount due to Ben were to be transferred to a short-term loan to be repaid from the partnership bank account within 1 month. It means that Ben is basically agreeing to transfer whatever amount is supposed to be paid to him to a loan account. So we will close the Ben's capital account with loan account. But remember this, that loan will be paid through bank, but after 1 month. But currently we have to close the account with the name loan because we are not making the payment. Otherwise, we would have closed it with bank. Or it may be possible that he may ask you that 50,000 will be paid from the bank and the remaining will be paid through loan. That will be closed with the loan account. The last entry, I won't consider it right now. We will discuss it later on after completing all the capital accounts. So let's see. Capital accounts given A, B, and C is 60,000, 40,000, and 20,000. The balance given already in the question. So let's write it down. 60,000, 40,000, and 20,000. Always try to pass the entries because it will always help you. G. So brought down, we have already written, brought down 60,000, 40,000, and 20,000. Entries will always help you. If you feel that you don't want to pass the entries and you want to do the question directly, it is possible. But it is possible only when you have passed all the entries every time while solving every question. Then in the paper you will be able to pass, prepare capital accounts without entries. Okay, unless you are not used to with the entries, how will you pass it directly? तो ऐसे ऐसे एंट्री से फिर आपको ओवरकम करके कंटिन्यू करना है, डायरेक्ट बनाना अगर आप चाहते हैं तो सबसे पहले गुडविल की एंट्रीज की बात कर लेते हैं. तो गुडविल A, B, and C is going to be credited with goodwill. So A's capital account is credited with 19,500 because of goodwill. B is going to be 13,000 because of goodwill, and C is going to be 6,500 because of goodwill. Now the next entry, A and C's capital account. Goodwill is to be written off between A and C capital account. So goodwill is credited by 39,000 because of A's capital account will be debited because of goodwill by 23,400, and C's capital account is going to be debited by 15,600 because of goodwill or with reference to goodwill. Now I have to transfer the revaluation profit. Always remember that if credit side is heavier in revaluation account, we will have a profit and that will be credited to the capital accounts. And if there is going to be loss, it will come on the credit side of revaluation account, but it will come on the debit side of capital. Opposite. So that is 3150. There are reasons behind that. I will show you. 2100 and 1050. Sir, why they used to go opposite? Because we are going to cancel the revaluation account with an amount of 6,300. So revaluation account is no more, it is closed. And A, B, and C's capital account is going to be credited with the profit according to their profit sharing ratio, which is 3150, 2100, and 1050. So this is the entry for revaluation profit. Now A's capital account, B capital account, C's capital account is going to be credited with this revaluation profit because of revaluation. Now let's see any other entry which is left. Yes. B's capital account to motor vehicle account, transferring entry of, because Ben has taken a motor vehicle, he has retained one of the motor vehicle taken over by, Ben's capital account is going to be debited by 14,500 because of motor vehicle. One of the motor vehicle which has been retained by the Ben or taken over by the Ben. Now this account is going to be closed, as I discussed with you, that I will close the Ben account with loan. The Ben account is going to be closed with the loan account. So I am going to close the Ben account first with the loan, and then I will write the carried down of A and C, and I will discuss with you whatever has been discussed in the last part of the question, which is still left, and for which I didn't discuss anything with you. So let's see what that part is basically telling us. We have already passed all the entries. I think no entries have been missed. Evaluation profit is already entered in the accounts. Goodwill has been written off after distribution. Ben has taken the motor vehicle. That is all already done. Now, as I discussed with you, the current account of Ben has to be transferred. If the question will ask you to transfer all current accounts of A, B, and C, you will transfer all of them. But if nothing is mentioned, then always remember that in retirement, we have to transfer the current account of retiring partner. Why? Because either he is facing a loss or profit, we have to give that loss to him on his retirement. Because whatever share he has in the business has to be handed over to retiring partner. So when current account is given 3250 and there is a loss, so loss of current account will be debited in his capital account, or maybe that's the reason that he is leaving the partnership, because he is facing the loss in the business, and that's why he is not feeling comfortable and he is leaving the partnership. Just check it out again, 3250, yes. Now, as discussed, that we are going to close it with the loan account. So let's make the total of the credit side. That is 40,000, 13,000, that is 53, and 55,100. Same total will come on the debit side, 55,100. And I will close it with the loan. 55,100 minus 14,500 minus 3250. And the answer is going to be the loan. 37350 is the amount of loan. Yani the retiring partner's capital account, which is Ben over here, is going to be closed with the name loan account, which comes on the debit side, with the amount of the difference of the two sides, 37350. So remember that this loan is supposed to be repaid after 1 month to Ben again through bank, but not now. We will close it with the loan. Let's move forward. It looks as if the question has completed, but no. This part has recently been emerged into the partnership chapter, and it has started coming from 2019. And now we have seen many questions which is coming of such type, which is known as readjustment of capital. इसका नाम आप कह सकते हैं, इसे हम कहते हैं रीएडजस्टमेंट ऑफ कैपिटल. होता क्या है, लास्ट लाइन पढ़ते हैं. कहते हैं कि कैन एग्री टू पे सफिशिएंट फंड्स इनटू द पार्टनरशिप बैंक अकाउंट so that partners capital account balance reflected the new profit sharing. So can agree to pay sufficient funds into the partnership bank account so that the partners capital account reflect the new profit sharing, right? So the new profit sharing ratio, if we discuss, that is 3:2. 3:2 means that A's capital account is 3/5 and C's capital account is 2/5. Let's write it first. So the ratio between them is 3/5 and 2/5. Now he is basically asking that in the question that their ratio should be, their capital ratio should be in this ratio 3/5. Let's find out the A's carried down balance. Let's make a total of A 60,000 plus 19,500 plus 3,150. 82,650. So the total is of A on the debit side should have been 82,650. And when I will subtract debit side, which is goodwill only, 23400, I will get the carried down of A. What is going to be the carried down of A? $59,250 is going to be the carried down of A. So what he is basically saying that carried down of 59250, it should be 3 by 5 of the total capital of A and C. I repeat again. The question is basically saying that 59250 is the capital of A. That's fine. But that should be the 3 by 5/5 of total capital of A and C. If you add up the carried down capital of A and C, 592 by 50 should be 3 by 5. So I can write over here very easily that total capital is equal to 3 by 5. Sorry, his capital, yani the A's capital, the closing balance of A's capital, which is 59250, should be equal to 3 by 5 of total capital. Right? यहाँ से आप solve कर लेंगे. 59250 is equal to 3 by 5 of total capital. So total capital is equal to 59250 into 5 over 3 into 5 over 3, that is 98750. Now you can calculate the 3 by 5 of 98750, which has to be 59250, and you will calculate 2 by 5 of 98750, or you may subtract 59250 from 98750 to get the same amount, which is going to be 2 by 5 of 98750, because the total capital of A and C, the carried down of A and C, should be equal to 98750, and that should reflect profit sharing ratio between their two capitals, which is 3 by 5, which is 59250, and 2 by 5 is going to be how much? 98750 ka 2 by 5, 39,500 is going to be the capital of C. So C's capital should be 39500. So the carried down of C's capital should be 39500. But if you just look at the question, if we calculate the carried down balance of C, it will not come 39500 because it is less than that. So question is basically demanding you to make his carried down capital equal to 39500 by contributing more amount through Kane. And Kane should bring sufficient fund into the partnership bank account so that his capital should become equal to profit sharing ratio, which is 395. So I have to make the total of the debit side, Hamza, and then credit side will be subtracted, and that amount will be written with the name bank on the credit side. So make a total of the debit side, 39500 plus 15,600. 39500 plus 15,600. 55,100. Total should be, credit side total should be 55,100. And this is going to be closed with bank. Over here, C's कैपिटल अकाउंट में जो डिफरेंस आएगा वो बैंक से क्लोज करेंगे क्रेडिट साइड पे, क्योंकि इतने पैसे उसको बिजनेस में लेके आने पड़ेंगे ताकि C and A's capital total should become 98750, and their ratio will be between them should be of 3 by 5 and 2 by 5. And if we give it a ratio of 3 by 5 and 2 by 5, then C's capital has to be 39500. To make it 39500, C has to bring more cash to the business through bank. So what is the difference? 55,100 minus 20,000 minus 6,500 minus 1050. How much? No. Calculate करेंगे 39500. अच्छा 55,100. Sorry, 55,100. ठीक है. Minus 20,000 minus 6,500 minus 1050. You are right. Yes. How much? 27,550. So this will come with the name bank 27,550, and this is a new thing. अगर आप इसकी, if you just pass the entry for that, the entry will become bank debit and C's capital account credit. So he has brought cash into the business. That is why bank is debited and C's capital account is credited by 27,550. C's capital account is credited by 27550 because of bank. So you can pass the entry also if you want to, though it is not required. So his capital account is going to be closed with the bank because he has paid sufficient cash into the business to make his capital in the to make the total capital of the two partners in the new profit sharing ratio, which is 3 by 5 and 2 by 5. So this is how we have completed this question, and I will always write the brought down also. Otherwise, definitely because examiner will deduct the marks because brought down has its marks with it. And if you can ask me any problem, I think it's fine. So you can WhatsApp me. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.